I don't care, he's old. He's not at the same level as he was when he was on Cleveland, when he won championships, Miami.
You have to remind somebody just who they're dealing with.
It's nonstop talking back and forth, and that was cool when we were just talking. But that right there that's where there's no place for that.
Why the Memphis Grizzlies is not ready to compete for a championship? Look no further than this idiot right here. They're actually depending on this guy to help them win a championship. The dynasty starts after you, not with you.
So, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I dressed pretty nicely for this video, and the reason for that is today we're going to be talking about Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks, you love him or you hate him? You probably hate him. After getting his head stuck in the toilet, then getting swirled by LeBron James, the Memphis Grizzlies couldn't handle his antics and bad media reputation, and finally informed Dillon Brooks that he will not be brought back to the team under any circumstance. In my opinion, the funniest part from this whole ordeal is that earlier in the season, the Grizzlies offered him a contract extension, and he declined it. I'm not sure how much money he was offered or how much he thinks he deserved. I bet the extension was pretty fair, but he just let his ego get in the way, like he normally does. But moving forward from that, he's about to be an unrestricted free agent, and there are no current confirmed destinations for him. Obviously, after all the fights and beasts he's been in, not many teams are going to be willing to take the risk of having to deal with him for an entire NBA season. Another issue is Brooks' poor skill set. Not many teams really want a guy like him. One of the most valuable player archetypes in today's game is a 3-and-D wing. And Brooks is trying to be that. The only issue is he only really has the D, but no 3-ball. During the regular season, Brooks shot 32.6% from 3. And come playoff time, it got even worse with him shooting 24% from 3. Draymond Green shot a higher 3-point percentage than him. So what teams could realistically pick up Dillon Brooks this offseason? One team I see floating around a lot is the Cleveland Cavaliers. The reason for this is there's a big hole in the small forward spot for the Cavs, and they need exactly what Dillon Brooks can supply, perimeter defense. Despite the hating, I'll admit Brooks is a pretty good defender and was named to the second all-defensive team this season and would drastically help the Cavaliers with defending outside the arc, because frankly, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are not the best at that. The only big question for this signing would be chemistry. As I showed in the intro earlier this season, Dillon Brooks took a pretty cheap shot to Donovan Mitchell's man area, and he was not happy about it one bit. It ended in a fight and both guys being thrown out of the game. This also ended up with Cavs coach JB Bickerstaff commenting on the situation, saying, "We don't have guys to start shit," and that's exactly what Dillon Brooks does. While Dillon Brooks' play style of aggressive defense and energy would fit perfectly with the Cavs, I'm not so sure the team will want him in their locker room. Another team I see thrown around a lot in Dillon Brooks conversations is the Miami Heat. This confused me at first, but I kind of understood it after a little bit. It confused me because Miami's big issue is shooting. The whole playoff thing with them shooting really good, I think that was a fluke, and they just need shooting. During the regular season, they were one of the worst teams, but Dillon Brooks doesn't shoot that well. So in what universe would they want to sign a player who's a terrible shooter and has no accountability? Well, they could fix him. The Miami Heat's culture is known as a real thing. Players are held accountable and disciplined. Before Jimmy Butler joined the Heat, he was known as a locker room cancer, and people despised him.
Jimmy Butler's reputation at the moment is as clubhouse cancer, basically, as locker room cancer.
But now he's one of the more well-respected players in the league. I genuinely believe the Heat could turn Dillon Brooks into a positive on the court and off the court, and fix up his antics just like they did with Jimmy Butler.
Tobias Harris over me?
The final team that I think could sign Dillon Brooks is the Dallas Mavericks. They need more defensive versatility and aggression, and they traded away the last player that really had that, and that was Dorian Finney-Smith. Dillon Brooks' value is obviously at an all-time low right now, so in a way, I think the Mavericks could use him as a cheap, loudmouth replacement for Finney-Smith. But the same thing goes for all three of these teams, but they want to be known as the team who signed Dillon Brooks willingly, because if I'm a GM, I sure as hell don't want Dillon Brooks to be a signing that'll go down with the rest of my legacy. Thank you for watching.